Well, greetings and hello there, everybody. It's me, your beloved Star Wars Dad, Nooch Do Good, and welcome to our brand new series here. We're going to be going through each of the Galactic Legends and doing a Galactic Legend Farming Guide Plus for all of them. We've done some farming guides in the past, but Farming Guide Plus means we're going to talk about the farm, how to get there. We'll talk about the difficulty of the requirements, what goes into it, like specifically Kyrotech is what we're really going to talk about, and relic levels. We'll talk about side farms, other farms that kind of go along with this farm that really make a lot of sense. We'll talk about the mods you put on the characters and just some general thoughts. That is your Farming Guide Plus. Let's jump right in right here. Here is Lord Vader. Here is your Lord Vader Farming Guide Plus. You know that I am farming him right now on my free-to-play Lord Vader account. And let's talk about these requirements. We know we're going to need the Bad Batch. We know that we're going to need the 501st Echo, the 501st ARC Trooper, and the ARC Trooper is Relic 8. We know we need Padme Amidala Relic 8. There's a Tusken Raider Relic 5. All the Bad Batch in there. Embo is Relic 5. We got Count Dooku at Relic 8. We got Zam at Relic 7. We got the Galactic Republic Y-Wing. Tarkin at 7. ARC Trooper at 8. Gas at 8. Nude Gunray at 7. This is, I think, still to this day, and I haven't looked at like Leia and everything, but you got 1, 2, 3, 4 Relic 8s. That's Padme, Count Dooku, ARC Trooper, and Gas are Relic 8s. Relic 7s are Newt, Tarkin, Zam Wessel, Echo, the original 501st Echo. Relic 5s are the entire Bad Batch, and Tusken Raider, and also Embo. The requirements are through the roof and they're massive, and the Kyrotech that's going to take you to get through this, like if we look at the gas farm, you know, Padme's one thing, and you can unlock Padme pretty easily in the game. Hunter Tech Record, the entire Bad Batch, those are farms. Tusken Raider's a farm. Embo, you just farm it. The 501st Echo and ARC Trooper, you farm them. Count Dooku's pretty easy. Wessel, Zam Wessel's pretty easy to get. Y-Wing, of course, can take you 6 months. Tarkin and Nuke Gunray, just pretty easy farms. Let's talk about gas a little bit. You've got to unlock gas to get here. And this is part of the Kyrotech heavy farm that's going to be for Lord Vader. And I'm going to tell you that I've estimated this farm up to 4,500 Kyrotechs. I can just say over 4,000 required, because not only do the Bad Batch each require 400, that's 1,600 there. Then you got to think about if you're going to get another clone up. Then you've got Gas here. He's 400 Kyrotechs. That's 2,000. And then you really got to think about these requirements here for Gas. If you were going to go after... Padme's going to take 100. I think it's just 100. It might be 200. Does she need Kyrotechs? I don't remember. I don't think she does. I don't think any of these can... No, I'm sorry. Shakti is 4 or 500. I'm not remembering. I think it's 500 Kyrotechs. So I think that comes in there too. Then you look at these guys. None of these guys are going to be massive Kyrotechs for the Separatists here. But you're going to have to relic some of these characters. That will cost you 100 Kyrotechs each time you do it. That's why we estimate it. You're not going to get this done with a full Gear 12 team. You can try it. See if you can get it done, but you're gonna have to Relic 8 Padme anyway. I mean, if you have to Relic 8 Padme anyway, you know what I'm saying? To get Gas, to get Lord Vader, why wouldn't you Relic her for this journey as well? And if we take a look at, I don't think any of these guys are, no, none of those guys are required. So I think the only character required out of the, let me see here, out of the Gas farm, the only character required is Padme, I believe, right? Yep. So, all the Relic 8s, all the Relic 7s, all the Kyrotechs for the Bad Batch, everybody in here, it's over 4,000 Kyrotechs by the time you get done relicking up Lord Vader himself. So, this is an expensive farm. It is a challenging farm. There is a lot going on. You got some extra characters. Like, the Bad Batch is a full team, or almost a full team that you get. Tusken Raider's just kind of an extra. You might farm a three-man Tusken team for your Grand Arena purposes, but... most people aren't farming Tuskens up to max. Padme's a great character, goes along in the game. Embo will go along with your Jabba team. The Echo and ARC Trooper obviously will go with Gas and the 501st, along with Rex and 5s. We talk about Count Dooku. Not a lot of homes. He can end up, for me, I know I use him with Darth Bane in the late game stages. Zam Wessel with her Omicron can really help the bounty hunters out. Otherwise, she's not a very useful character. The Y-Wing goes in your Negotiator farm. Grand Moff Tarkin, also there for Sith Eternal, I guess. ARC Trooper, we talked about. Gas, talked about. Nuke Gunray can go into a Separatist team and do some pretty good things there. Let's talk about the extra stuff you get along the way. We mentioned Bad Batch. We've mentioned Gas and the 501st. The other big farm that you earn and get along the way is going to be your Negotiator finishing farm. If I go to ships here, Boy, you know what? I gotta tell you, I'm so used to the PC client. Going back over to BlueStacks just because we don't... This account is farmed by somebody. He doesn't do the PC client. He's not too worried about it. But if we look at the Galactic Republic fleet here, okay? The Negotiator fleet with Y-Wing, Plo Koon, Ahsoka, Clone Sergeant, Umbaran Starfighter, and Anakin's Editu Starfighter. Early in the game, you might have the Houndstooth in there. It's a great fleet. It's a number 4 fleet in the game. It does a lot of good things for you. Defense, offense, and Commander, and it performs in a lot of other game modes. The Negotiator fleet is really good, but this ship right here finishes it off. And because you have to relic your Bad Batch to get Lord Vader, you better be farming that Marauder on the side. 100%. 100%. This is not an option. You just need to take the Marauder and mentally put it into the Lord Vader farm. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Take the Marauder and insert it into the Lord Vader farm at 7 stars. Get it in there, get it done. Most you guys are going to have the Marauder already farmed, then you do the Bad Batch afterward. That's how most rosters work. If you're not doing that, you're doing it wrong. I'm telling you right now, you're doing it wrong. The Marauder takes a Negotiator from a very good number 4 fleet in the game and transforms it into an endgame fleet. You can possibly beat Leviathans. You are beating Executors. You're beating Profundities. You are climbing Fleet Arena with this fleet. The Marauder elevates you to a level you're not going to be at. Add it to this farm no matter what you do. I promise you it's going to be good. Other things to talk about. I think the Bad Batch is a really important topic. We can look at the 501st first, though. You're getting Gas, ARC Trooper, and Echo. That's the relic levels required for Lord Vader. You're going to want to farm 5s and Rex along the way. So 5s and Rex, you're going to finish off your 501st team. You need to get them at least to Relic 5 like they are here. Farm these guys, get a full 501st team. That's just an automatic too. You just add them into the farm. You got to get them done. That's really important. The Bad Batch is a curious case. You see here on this account, we've got Omega at Relic 5. You need these 4 Bad Batch at Relic 5 to unlock Lord Vader, okay? That's just a given. Omega you don't need. Now, do you really need Omega for a Bad Batch team? That's the question of the day. The answer is probably going to be, until you get to the late game, no. You're not really going to need her in there. Let's pull up our clone troopers. That's what I was trying to do here. You can sub in another clone trooper. Like, you got your 501st there with Gas. If you don't have a Phoenix team, you can put Rex in there. You're probably going to have a Phoenix team. I'm not farming it on my Lord Vader farm on purpose. You could drop Clone Sergeant in there, drop Cody in there, but another character that a lot of people choose to drop in there with the Bad Batch, a couple of characters. You can use Padme Amidala as the leader for them. That could do some really nice things. Padme Amidala leading Hunter, Wrecker, Echo, and Tech is a very effective team. All the extra stacks of protection up, plus they get a lot of courage. Padme Amidala is a great choice to lead that team. Or you could throw Shaak Ti in. You can either maybe have her as a leader. I haven't really looked at that. Or just throw her in as a 5th in there. She has a lot of synergy with the clones. You can see here, her leader works for clones, but her unique works with clones. Whenever they take damage, she recovers. She gets Turn Meter. Whenever Shaak Ti or Clone Trooper ally takes damage from an attack, they gain Retribution. She does this. Dispel all debuffs. Call all Clone Trooper allies to assist. So, call target other allies. Everything in here says Clone Trooper. Everything in Interceptor Basic says Clone Trooper. And yeah, her leader gives them a bunch of speed. I still think you're better off with Hunter's lead and having Shaak Ti as a 5th in there. You can test it and check around with it, but that would be another character. You may not have to relic her to get Gas unlocked. You could probably go at Gear 12 with her, but relicking her, throwing her on that Bad Batch team instead of Omega is not a horrible idea. Shaak Ti doesn't have a lot of homes in the game. She's a massive floater between different teams. If you don't want to go and spend a bunch of Kyrotech on Omega, do it on Shaak Ti. You're going to have to get her to Gear 12, most like Gear 11, Gear 12, anyway, to get Gas done, depending on the relics of the other characters. Get her up to Relic and use Shaak Ti on that team. That'll be a really good fit for you in that team. We can look at Separatists. You know, we have to farm Dooku and Newt Gunray, and we can put together a team there. You can put Grievous out there with Newt Gunray, and maybe you got Stap, maybe you got Newt Gunray mixes into those Separatist teams pretty well. Newt Gunray is also kind of a floater. There's not a lot of Separatist teams available, but when you have one, if you throw Newt Gunray into the team, it just automatically gets better. So something to consider with Newt Gunray. Count Dooku is kind of on his own. If you're doing Darkside Geo territory battles, he has him and Asajj have their own little event or little node there all together. Other than that, Count Dooku is really Newt Gunray and Count Dooku. Plug and play, man. Get them into different areas of the game. We look at, I mentioned earlier, where are we here? Bounty Hunters, yes. I mentioned Embo earlier. So Embo's really going to fit once you get a Jabba team. He fits there. Otherwise, he doesn't really fit in a lot of other areas. There's Embo. Doesn't really fit in a lot of other places in the game. That's pretty much his only fit. So once you get Embo, you want to have Jabba. That's the only place he really goes. Doesn't go much else than that. We talked about the Tuskens. You can do a three-man Tusken team, which I believe is Tusken Raider, Chieftain Raider, and maybe Aurora. I can't remember, but there's a three-man team. I think Raider or Aurora's got an Omicron here. There's the Omicron. 3v3 Grand Arena. It's just a 3v3 team. You can do it out there. You can also farm a full Tusken team to do the Inquisitor Assault battle. So if you're not anywhere near the Inquisitors, it might be worth it to go ahead and relic up these other 3 Tuskens or over 4 Tuskens and do the Assault battle. That way, it's cheaper for sure. Just doesn't lead you to a lot of places other than Aurora being required for Jabba the Hutt. So, yeah, Tuskens, you know, Tuskens. We looked at Grand Moff Tarkin back there. I think was there another Empire too? Let me go look at those requirements. Hold on. I know we had Grand Moff Tarkin. We got some, trust me, we got more teams to talk about here as we move forward. That's not where I wanted to be. I'm in the wrong screen. The PC client is so much faster, dude. So much faster. If you don't have the PC client, go get it today. All right. Empire I'm looking for here. I think it was just Grand Moff Tarkin. Contract record, Padme, Embo, Babaz, Count Dooku, Zam Wessel. Yeah, Grand Moff Tarkin is the only guy. He doesn't really have a lot of places in the game other than being out there for Lord Vader and Sith Eternal. You could throw him into some Darth Vader teams against some Geos, but that's really early on, so yeah, not really much to think about there. So let's talk about 2 more really important things to know as you're farming Lord Vader. Number 1, Maul is nearly a requirement for Lord Vader. If we look at Maul here, let's look at Lord Vader first. I should have looked it up earlier. One of his uniques here, maybe his leader. Yes. At the start of the battle, other Empire and Darkside Unaligned Force user allies lose all protection and gain that much max health. If a Darkside Unaligned Force user ally was present, for the rest of the battle, all Empire Darkside Unaligned Force users take 30% reduced damage from enemy Lightside Unaligned Force user attacks. Kind of a weird combo there, but if all allies are Darkside, Empire, and Darkside Unaligned Force users, a lot of language about Darkside Unaligned Force user. Whenever a Darkside ally loses a buff, Empire and Darkside Unaligned Force user gain 1% mastery, blah, 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 blah. There's more down here, probably with Darkside Unaligned Force users. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. But there's a lot of language there about Darkside Unaligned Force users. And when he came out, it was Maul that went along with Lord Vader. He was the lifter, the immediately released lifter. Not a fan of that, but it is a thing in the game. Maul is only available in Proving Grounds right now. You can pay crystals to get him as well. That's the only way to get Maul. If you want your Lord Vader team functioning at the highest capacity possible, you've got to have Maul on your roster. Keep that in mind. There are ways to work with Lord Vader and make him super duper health-wise and make the team really strong and difficult to overcome. But when you put Maul in there, it takes you to a whole new level. Maul is an early damage dealer because Lord Vader takes time to ramp up. He's got to go through a couple cycles of his ult before he really starts doing a lot of damage. Maul is doing damage right off the bat, and you probably aren't going to have anybody else on that team that's doing the kind of damage that Maul is going to do on that team. So if you're looking for somebody to come in and do early damage while you're biding your time for Lord Vader to ramp up to his big damage, Maul is your guy. You could go with other Darkside Unaligned Force users, Terran Malicos maybe, etc. But Maul to this day remains the best guy, and that's one of the biggest challenges with an early Lord Vader farm, is you can't get to Maul without crystals or being at 4 million and doing Proving Grounds every month for like the rest of your life. So it takes like 18 months to get it fully unlocked. If you do the Conquest Pass, you could do it in half of that, so 9 months. So Maul takes a long time to farm. Remember that. I'm telling you, remember that. You've got to know that. for this farm. Now let's talk about something else with Lord Vader. We're over here. Let's go to Empire. Let's do it that way. Lord Vader is an Empire character. You're not really going to be thinking about him that way because, you know, he does say me and my Empire, but you don't generally think of Lord Vader in the movies as being in the Empire. But he is. And when we look at those leader abilities, they apply to Dark Side, doubled for Empire. Look at this. Dark Side allies have plus 20% speed, mastery, and 15% max health. Doubled for Empire or Dark Side Online Force users. Empire is mentioned right along our Dark Side Online Force users the entire time. So you're going to want his team to be full of Empire and Dark Side Online Force users. So if we look at those Empire characters, the only one you're farming, the only one that's required for Lord Vader is going to be Grand Moff Tarkin. Does Grand Moff Tarkin fit on the team? He can. He's not very exciting. You want characters that are either going to benefit you with something really quickly like Maul or like Grand Admiral Thrawn, who can fracture somebody right out of the gate, and that can make the other team really struggle to get through you, especially in 3v3. You only got 3 characters out there and one of them is fractured. You got some problems on your hands. So Grand Admiral Thrawn is a great fit on a Lord Vader team. Tarkin's okay. Royal Guard is a great fit on a Lord Vader team. When we look at here, Royal Guard gains max health equal to 5% of the allied leader's max health and doubles his health till the end of the encounter. Well, what Lord Vader is going to be doing is dispelling all protection on himself and all Empire allies. Should have said this a minute ago. Should be in here. Let's see here. Yep. At the start of the battle, other Empire and Dark Side Unaligned Force user allies lose all protection and gain that much max health. If a Dark Side Unaligned Force user allies... Okay, so you're going to want to mod these guys for protection, and that's pretty much the whole team. You just want them to hang around as long as possible so that Lord Vader can launch this ult as many times as possible. Lord Vader gains ultimate charge when he uses Dark Harbinger. If Lord Vader's leader, when debuffed, Dark Side allies receive damage, he gains 2% ultimate. That's gaining their ultimate charge. Let's see here. When he launches his ultimate, Lord Vader gains 50%. 50% of other Dark Side allies' current mastery stacking until the end of the encounter. Then they lose that much. Empire and Dark Side Online Force user allies don't lose mastery from this ability. Haha, look at that. They don't lose their mastery. If 100% was used instead, he gains 75% mastery. This is how you want to do it, by the way. Guys, this is why you want to keep the team around him alive as long as possible. You want him to gain their mastery. It's not a siphon exactly. You're not siphoning it off if they're Empire or Dark Side Unaligned Force user. You're just gaining the mastery from those guys at 75%. The amount of extra damage and offense, and I just said damage and offense, same thing, protection, health, the amount of extra oomph that this gives Lord Vader is a gigantic deal. This is the ramp up that Lord Vader has to do. You want to pop that ult as many times as possible. So you just want this team modded quite bluntly. If you, let's say you got Lord Vader, Maul, Royal Guard, Thrawn, and let's just say Tarkin. Piet's a good fit out there. If you're not using Imperial Troopers, you can put Darth Vader out there. Almost any Empire, would work. But since you farm Tarkin, I kind of like the idea of putting Tarkin in there, especially early on. Night Sister ends up on that team sometimes because if you're, especially 3v3, you go with Lord Vader, Maul and Night Sisters or something like that. Because she stays alive for a long time. Other characters end up on that team, or you see on that team. I don't see them. Maybe Stormtrooper. People will put a lot of tanks in there. What I just talked about. Keep them alive as long as possible. Royal Guard, doubling their health. I mean, unbelievable. Gaining 5% of leader's max health, and then doubling that health, and everybody's recovering health while all the health that's gonna be on this team from all the protection you put on there. You get 24% protection for a 6-dot mod. You only get 16% health. So you want to mod this whole team for protection. You want him to stay alive as long as possible. You want Lord Vader to be dropping as many ults as he can. By the time he gets around to his second one, he's pretty much soloing the other team without any problem. And that is your Lord Vader Farming Guide Plus. My general thoughts here about Lord Vader: I don't generally view him as an early game farm. I do see people out there farming him as their first Galactic Legend. I get it. He's a very popular character in Star Wars, and I'm testing this out right now on my own account to see what it's like. But because of the Chirotech requirements, because of the Maul, because of Maul really being a really good lifter for him, because he becomes pretty easy to beat without Maul. You can beat him with gas. There are other teams that can beat him. If you take down, if he's on defense, and you take down all the characters around him, he's not going to have anything to pull that mastery off of, and he's just not as good. He's just not as good of a character. So, Lord Vader without Maul isn't as great. That's why I really view Lord Vader as a down-the-road kind of farm, not an early farm, a down-the-road. That's my thoughts on Lord Vader. You want to have the roster ready for him with a full team of Empire. You want to be able to put Maul on the team so you can maximize the team. And because of the Chirotech requirements, you're going to spend a bunch of stuff. Now, you will get an endgame fleet out of it, but you can get the Executor, out of other farms in the game as well. But, yeah, those are my thoughts, man. That's where I'm left with the thoughts. You'll also get gas out of the Bad Batch. You'll get some really nice teams, but I just view him as a late game farm, generally speaking, because of the requirement mainly of Maul and all the Chirotechs that go into this farm. And that's what I've got today. Hope it helps you guys out. Let me know if I missed anything. I will talk to all of you soon. I'll be back here very soon with another Galactic Legend Farming Guide. Plus, always remember, Nooch too good.